Alright guys, we had to switch to my phone. The internet out here in the boonies is so much fun. So much fun. I'll wait a minute and see if anybody hops on. If not, from the ones that I tagged, they can watch it later. No big deal. It is hot, hot, hot here in Central Florida. I'm sweating. I'm glistening. Ugh. Anyways, I will try to make this one shorter than our last one that ended up being like 20, 25 minutes, something like that. Today I just wanted to hop on really quick and talk to you guys about elderberry, because I know a couple of you had messaged me about it, and there is definitely, let me see if I can set this down, some misconceptions going around. Hey, how are you, Charity? Hey girl, how is it there? It's hot, still hot. I'm waiting for that fall weather. It's not fall yet, but I'm ready. Anyways, so today I was going to talk to you guys about elderberry, because like I said, there's some misconceptions kind of going around about, oh my gosh, don't take elderberry, you know, you'll die type thing. It can hurt you. And like I've said before, or like I said the last time, hey B, elderberry can hurt you. But if you're educated and you understand how to use it, then you're fine. So a couple of the things that I just want to touch on really quickly about it is, you know, elderberry has vitamin C, it has vitamin A, has a lot of really good things for us. It's an antiviral. Not only can it be used for the cold and for flus, it can also be used for herpes. It can be used for shingles. It can be used for upper respiratory tract infections. Any of those types of viral infections, we can use elderberry for. But elderberry is, do you got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is one of those, Sanae's grabbing her tablet. One of those things that is an immune stimulant. So it ramps up our immune system. So it's definitely something that we want to take before we get sick instead of waiting until we are already sick, because at that point it's going to ramp our immune system up so much that it can hurt us. So basically what happens when you get a virus is that virus gets inside of your body and tries to attach to your cells. And then once it attaches to your cells, it is then your immune system's job to get it off of those cells. What elderberry actually does, if we're using it properly, as you know, hang on a second guys, I'm dropping everything here. If it, you know, is taken properly as a preventative, or, you know, as a defense support for our immune system, then what it does is it stops those virus bugs from getting into our cells and replicating. It stops it, which is what we want it to do, right? We want it to get in there. We want to have a strong enough immune system that when something does enter into our body, that it's going to, you know, our immune system can fight it, but not go overboard. Does that make sense? So elderberry syrup, elderberry tincture, which is how I like to take it and how I like to give it to my children, is a great thing to have on board before you get sick. Not, you know, 4 or 5 days in it when you feel like death. Now, if you feel like you have something coming on, take it. You know, if you procrastinated and now you're like day 1, 2 into it, but you're still not feeling horrible, but you're like, oh yeah, I am definitely sick now. It's time to take it. If you've been around, you know, family members or friends or out in public and everybody's coughing and you're like, oh no, we were around them, we're going to catch something. That is the time to take it. But like I said, elderberry is something that you want to have on board before you get sick, not after. Now, there are some precautions with elderberry, and those are for people who are immunosuppressed or immunocompromised. If you are on immune suppressants, elderberry is probably not a good fit for you. Again, like I said in the last one, and I'll say in all the rest, I'm not a doctor. I have no type of medical degree that certifies me to give you health advice. The only thing I can do is share research with you and tell you what has worked for me and my family. And I encourage you, based off of whatever I tell you, however you feel about it, if you so decide to use elderberry, please go do your own research. Use this as one of your tools in your research and deciding what's best for you and your family. But that being said, elderberry is an antiviral. It's also, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, colds and flus, take your elderberry. Absolutely. Old folklore tells us, I can't talk today, that elders actually used to be, well, and some people still use them as this, I do, they're the protectors or the guardians of your gardens. So most people would plant them kind of at the edge of their gardens to kind of watch over it, because they grow, they bush out and they grow very, very tall. And I don't think a lot of people have actually, I mean, they take the elderberry syrup that they buy, I don't know, Walmart or health food store, or someone makes it for them. But I've already harvested most of mine this year, because this is kind of the time for us to start harvesting, and then there'll be another, big boom of berries. But you got to leave some for the wildlife. So I took one that's pretty much all eaten, but I don't know if you can see this. These are actually what your elderberry syrup is made out of. Are these little pretty berries right here. And this is actually black elder. This is what we have in Florida. Some other places there's the red elderberries, which I don't suggest that you use unless you really know what you're doing, because they can have a lot of GI upset to them. And here's what the leaves look like. I even think they're pretty. Anyways, so that is actually what elderberry looks like when it's not in syrup form. But you can do syrup, you can do jellies, wine. A lot of people make wine out of it. Like I said, I do a tincture, and I'll explain that in a minute why I do that. But the only edible parts of the elderberry bush are the berries cooked. I sometimes will pick them and eat them raw, but they can cause GI upset. So I would suggest, if you choose to use them, you need to cook them and make them into your syrups. Is fine. And the flowers. The elder flowers are little bitty, the white flowers that come up before the berries. And those are actually edible raw. People make tea with them. People will, dip them in a really light batter and eat them like a fritter. I haven't done that yet, but a lot of people do. So elderberry is also an anti-inflammatory, which is really good if you're somebody that has arthritis. But back to what I was saying just a minute ago, if you are someone that has an autoimmune something going on, or you're, on those immunosuppressants, like if you've got RA, you probably don't want to take elderberry at all. You probably just want to avoid it, because, it's going to ramp that immune system up. And when you have an autoimmune disorder, your immune system is already on high alert. You don't want to do that. Also, so kind of back to why I do mine, where did it go? In tincture form, right here. I make mine into a tincture instead of a syrup, because to make it into a syrup that my children will tolerate, because elderberries aren't like super sweet berries. I mean, they taste medicinal and they're kind of bitter. Kids don't particularly like that. So I don't like to put a lot of sugar in mine. Why? Because what does sugar do to your immune system? It kills it. So kind of the theory on that is anything more than 75 grams of sugar a day is detrimental to your health by way of lots of different things, but mainly your immune system. So if you put that in terms of, okay, what exactly is 75 grams of sugar? Now that's 75 grams of added sugar, refined sugar, not your fruit, not the stuff that you get from sweet potatoes or stuff like this. This is table sugar, refined sugar, sweeteners of any kind. That's where this sugar is going to come in. So if you go to the gas station and you grab yourself a 32-ounce big gulp, is that what they're still called? Big gulps? That's well over 75 grams of sugar. So that one soda just depleted your immune system and is now going to, especially if that's done on a regular basis, I mean, you have now opened yourself up to all kinds of mess with your immune system. You can be eating all the healthy things you want to, but if you're still adding excessive amounts of sugar, you're kind of or you can take your elderberry syrup or tincture, but if you're stopping by the gas station to work in the morning after taking this to have your pop for the day, there was really no point in wasting your money on buying these. So that's that. You can make a syrup, but I would suggest that you make it with honey. Yes, sugar is sugar, honey is still sugar, but our bodies process honey differently than our bodies process sugar. So basically what that means is there's glucose and fructose in both sugar and honey, and a lot of things that are sweet in your fruit as well. But the way that our body processes table sugar is it's instant. When you take it, your body does not have to digest it. It doesn't have to process it. Why? Because it's refined. It's already broke down. So you can literally, drink it, eat it, however you're taking it, and it's an instant hit to your blood sugar, to your body. So the glycemic index of sugar is extremely high, and that's why, because our body doesn't have to process it or break it down. It's an immediate rush. We get it immediately. Honey, there's antioxidants in honey. There are some nutrients that are found in honey. So it's lower on the glycemic index, which means it takes our bodies longer to process, longer to digest the honey. So you're not getting that instant rush that is not good for you. So if you're gonna make elderberry syrup, make it with honey and keep it in the fridge so you don't have to worry about adding 2-3 cups of sugar to preserve it on the shelf. Make it as you need it. It's something that you can make and take that day. It's not something that has to set. This tincture that I make takes 6 to 8 weeks to set because I take the berries and I fill this jar up, and then what you do is pour 100 proof alcohol over it, and it sits for 6 to 8 weeks and pulls out all of the medicinal value of your berries. But when I say alcohol, a lot of people freak out about that, but you're literally taking it, yes, local raw honey, not the little honey bear that you get from the store. This is local unrefined honey, raw honey. You're looking for raw honey. Otherwise, yeah, it's just sugar again. Good question, B. But the tinctures, I mean, they are made with alcohol, but you're literally taking 3 to 5 drops a day. So when you break that down, because a lot of people are like, I don't want to give my kids alcohol. Yeah, I don't want to give my kids alcohol either. But when you look at it this way, a fully ripe banana has more alcohol than what you're going to get from taking this tincture. And then I don't have to consume any sugar to get this into my kids or into myself. So make your elderberry syrup. There's lots of recipes out there. There's a ton. And then once it's done, add the honey to taste. Add it a little bit at a time. And when it's sweet enough that your kid's like, yeah, I could take this, and they're only going to take a tablespoon at a time, then you're good. You don't need to go adding a cup of it. And actually with the tincture itself, oh no, your elderberry lady's in the hospital. I have tincture B. Uh-oh, brain fart. What was I going to say? Oh, the tincture. So with this, it actually is just a couple drops in water. You don't take it straight. You put a couple drops of it in water, or you can put it in whatever they're drinking in the morning. I wouldn't put it in milk. It'll curdle that, but you can put it whatever, you're drinking or kids are drinking or whatever, and it's no problem. But the biggest thing that I wanted to mention about this is just mainly the fact that, yeah, elderberry can be dangerous if you don't know how to use it. And other than that, it's a really great defense. It's really something that we need to have, not need to have, if you choose to have it. If you do your research and you choose elderberry as something that you want to add to your, daily regimen to boost your immune system, it's something that's really good to have on hand, and especially for women too. It's great for breast health. It's good for a lot of different things. But just know how to use it. Know that if you're somebody that is immune compromised in any way, talk to your doctor, and ask them if you have something going on. Say, hey, am I immune compromised right now? Is elderberry something that I could use? Now, I will tell you, a lot of doctors are not very well informed on herbs, and that's kind of one of those things where you'll have to be your own advocate and talk to your doctor about it and do your own research and then make your decision from there. But yeah, immune compromised, elderberry is not for you. And then that is what makes it dangerous, is when we have the immune systems that are already heightened. And the same, if you're in the middle of a cold and you're feeling like death, elderberry is not the one to reach for. Elderberry is a really good defense and a booster to have on hand. Not good once you're already sick, or if you, again, are immune compromised in any way. Don't take it then. Don't take it. Just don't even take it. It's not for you. And there's so many other things out there that you can take to boost your immune system. Look for things that have, bioflavonoids. The biggest thing for our immune system, obviously, is vitamin C. And anything that has bioflavonoids in it is going to be a really good source of vitamin C. So that is somewhere that's really good to start. And remember, this is food. And also something else too, which I make this. But so from these leaves that you see here, they're actually really good if you bruise easily. Now, to use the leaves topically, again, talk to your doctor. But you would be fine to use this in like a salve or an ointment type thing, which is how I use it when we get on the farm. We get lots of bruises. I'm coaching my daughter's softball now, and I got hit with a baseball bat last week and had a really gnarly bruise on my arm, which now, it's pretty much gone. And normally my bruises last for weeks, but there's lots of uses if we just look for them and make sure that we're doing our research and we're educated and we're informed. And that's it. I don't think there was anything else that I needed. I wrote notes this time, so I didn't forget anything. Dun, 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 dun. Nope. I think that's... Oh, a lot of people do freak out with this because it does have the glycosides in it. Which there's a lot of things that have glycosides in them. Because they worry about cyanide poisoning type of thing. But glycosides are something, like if someone's going to do that, you don't just give someone one dose of it and they die. It has to build up in their system. They have to take it every day, day in, day out. So the glycosides are found in the leaves, and glycosides are found in the berries of elderberry. But the cool thing is when you cook them down, the cooking process in general kills those glycosides, and you don't have to worry about them. But also, cooking is not just on the stovetop. Cooking is considered many different methods. One, tincturing them, putting them in alcohol and letting them set. That is one method of cooking that, takes away the glycosides. Drying or curing them. So if you're buying dried elderberries to make your syrup with, there is no glycosides in there. You don't need to worry. Cooking them on the stovetop, any of those kind of things, any type of the processing that it goes through is going to kill the glycosides. Now, if you're going out to the tree, that's why I'm very careful how many of the berries I eat when I forage. And I always spit the seeds out because that's where the glycosides are in the berries. They're in the seeds. So you would want to spit them out if you so chose, but I am not recommending that anyone eat raw elderberries because if you're not used to it, yeah, you're going to spend some time on the pot. So don't do that. Make a syrup, make a tincture, and go with it. Go with it that way. But there's no concern for the glycosides once it's been processed. The only time you would need to worry about that is if, like I said, you were literally going outside to the tree. Exactly. Oh, I'm telling you, you'll poop your brains out. I took it. Yeah, Grandma Oni, unfortunately, that's the downside to elderberry is once you have an autoimmune, it's just not recommended for you anymore because it's just going to keep an already heightened immune system on full force, and you don't want to do that. But yeah, don't eat them raw. Moral of the story: don't eat raw berries. Don't eat any berries if you don't know for sure what they are, unless you're just that kind of person. Then go for it. But yeah, don't eat the raw berries. Don't eat the leaves. The leaves have no business in your mouth. If you want to cook them down, wilt them, put them in oil, and make an infusion with them, and then use them as a salve or a balm, that is perfectly fine for wounds and to kind of help your bruises heal faster. That's perfect for that. It is absolutely perfect for that. But don't eat the leaves. Don't eat the raw berries. Don't take elderberry if you're immune compromised or if you are in the middle of a really bad sickness and you feel like you're going to die. Don't take it then. Other than that, take it in the morning. If you feel like you have something coming on, take it. And I think that's about all I have for you guys. So, all right, guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Monday. I hope your week is wonderful. I'm not sure. I had a couple of people message me after the last one and ask me to cover different things. So elderberry was today. I'm not sure which one we'll do next. Maybe I'll try to make a post a couple of days ahead or the morning before or something what we'll cover. But these then get transferred somewhere else, so you'll be able to rewatch them. Anyways. All right, guys. Have a good week. Bye.